Happy birthday, Nole.
Love you.
Happy birthday, old man.
Hey Noel, happy birthday. Great day. Great to see you all. Hi. We love you. Hey, what is it? Debut. In Pembroke City when I was young. I lived by the river.
Nole, you're my favourite hobbit yogi. I love you, adore you, stay around forever.
Nole, you always remain to me this like crazy Australian explorer that always look at worms. I will always remember leeches because of you, because I had tons on my legs, so thanks for that. And I promise that every time I press myself some orange juice or to my partner, I will always think of you as well. So thank you very much for that. Happy birthday.
He is the best joke teller ever, always remembers the punchlines, unlike myself, who only ever remembers the punchlines and not the rest of the joke. So he is, very happy memories of Nole and his jokes, and just the lovely man that he is.
Happy birthday, Nole. Great to be able to share that with you. And as Sue said, we're looking forward to the next joke.
Lovely being here, Noel. What I remember is when you had a new practical class, you used to write notes next to the student's name so you could recognise them. On one occasion, you got your name at the top. A student had written next to it, small bloke with pubic hair on the top of his head. You'll remember.
I don't think I can be that, Nole, but happy birthday, love you lots, darling.
Happy birthday, Noel. Wonderful to celebrate it with you. Look forward to the next one. Cheers.
Happy birthday, Nole.
Yes.
You don't look a day over 85. Happy birthday to Noel. You're getting very old.
Happy birthday for next year, Noel.
Happy birthday, Noel.
We're all talking, or just... Hello Noel, I'm Uncle Noel. Hope you find some more bugs around the place. Looks like there's a good spot for that, so happy birthday and enjoy yourself.
Happy birthday, Nole.
Happy birthday, Nole. I love you greatly. I love you dearly. I miss you. I wish we lived closer, but you're a darling, and we think about you a lot, and I love our long phone conversations. So just ring me whenever you want. Happy birthday. It's a great party.
I think this is probably about the 10th time that we've wished you happy 80th birthday, but happy birthday again.
Happy birthday, Noel. Hope you have a fabulous day.
Thank you. Yes, happy birthday, Noel. All the best for another wonderful year ahead.
It's not your birthday at all, you liar.
So
Just
true.
an excuse to get people in, that's all.
Okay, so we have some people who would like to say a little something on this special occasion of Noel's birthday. Where's Noel? Here. How did you sneak in there? So, there's a few people. I don't know whether I should be announcing the lineup of people. No. And unaccustomed as I am, I've already said that. So, Dave Briscoe?
Nole's going to start.
Oh, Nole's going to start. I thought that was just like a heading. So this is Noel, and I think you all know that could be it. And it was a fine day when Noel walked into our lives. I can tell you. Kindness isn't my greatest facet, but it is one of Noel's. There's people that build walls and people that build bridges, and Noel is a person that builds bridges. And he's taught me a lot about building bridges. Gentleness. Tolerance. Anyway, look. This is for Noel. Okay, go, okay. He wears a nice hat too, doesn't he? Anyway, no, look, I'm pretty poor at speeches, so I'm handing this microphone to you. Oh, thank you.
Thank you, Ron. That's fantastic. Now, I don't know whether that's making a sound. Now, I won't speak for very long because many of you are standing and I'm uncomfortable. And I have a few things to say, and I did it this morning when I thought Robin wasn't looking because she thinks I get very tense when I have to do something like this. And I'm impossible to live with. So I try to get up at 4 o'clock in the morning and do it without her knowing, but she caught me. She caught me doing it. So I've scribbled down a few things that I wanted to say to you, and I really am overwhelmed. And I welcome friends and family and extended family, and thank you all for coming here today to celebrate with me for my 80th birthday. You're all very special to me. And Robin as well, and I thank you for that. And I cannot imagine what I've done to be so lucky to deserve all you wonderful people. And that's very true. But what I would like to do is a bit sort of serious. I would like to begin, and this is what I wrote this morning. I would like to begin with an acknowledgement of country, especially as we are in this special bushland setting. But don't look too closely, because amongst the dense vegetation is a treasure trove, a botanical gardens of invading weeds that have arrived with us in this country over the last 200 or so years. So we're not the only ones. We are gathered here beside, and it's just over there, the Turramurra River. It sounds much nicer than the Lane Cove River, and that is the real name of the river on the western side of which we are now situated. This forms the boundary of the Warramgattergal clan of the Durug Nation. We pay our respects to the traditional owners, the elders past and present, and the spirit of this most ancient land. As we meet here today, we are aware that Aboriginal families and friends have met here for millennia, for ceremonies and learning, for trade and for social occasions like this one. Coming to today's gathering, we would have travelled along many ancient Aboriginal walking tracks. We would have formed some of Sydney's major roads. The Pacific Highway is one of them, believe it or not. It still looks like a ramshackle place. Epic Road is another, and Victoria Avenue is a third, to name just 3 of the traditional Aboriginal walking tracks that came into this part of the world before we came along. Now, I would like to end this little speech about our First Nation people, and I would like to put in a plea to our government to rectify the stain on our nation. Recognition and reconciliation with our First Nation people is an eventuality, but moving forward with great glacial speed. No, I think that's too fast. It's certainly too fast these days. It's a more appropriate metaphor with amoeboid speed. What is the problem, I would like to know, with the Constitution? Right on. Okay. So, it's all about me. And I always thought the Me Too, that it was about me. There's 2 things about me. I'm needy. I like attention. I crave attention. I have attention deficit. And as an example of this craving of attention, this birthday of mine has gone from the 4th of October to now the 10th of November. even I am getting a little bit tired of this. But there is a reason for this extended 30th birthday, and that is my darling granddaughter, Cecilia, has now finished her HSC, and she has overcome that, and she had it. Everybody has a terrible time these days, and it's terrible that this should be the case. And anyway, it's over, and she was able to come here and be part of the celebration of my 30th birthday. And thank you, Cecilia. Now the other feature that I have, I've always been a very solitary child. That may seem strange to you since I've gathered hundreds of people here today, but for much of my childhood and my youth was on my own. I lived in Coogee, and I would go down to rock platforms in the Coogee area with my dog, and there I would spend the rest of the afternoon after torturous time at school looking in rock pools. But not only that, from our house there were sand dunes like Arabia that extended to the shores of Botany Bay, and I explored these sand dunes with the vegetation that occurred between the sand dunes, as you would find in the Simpson Desert today, filled with pockets of vegetation and with creatures that were astounding. My first diamond-headed toadlet, Pseudophrony australis, was found in this circle, and I couldn't believe it when I found this gorgeous creature, and other creatures as well. Now, this all changed, I suppose, when I did find out that there was a subject called zoology, because up to this point I didn't know what this was, and there was a subject called zoology, and some people might study it at universities. At this point, nobody in my family thought that this would be the case. They thought I was switched at birth. So different was I to their own interests. And there came a time when I wished I had been. and I have 4 brothers, 2 of them in the first batch and 2 of them in the second batch. And the reason why we have 2 batches of brothers in the Tate family is that my mother wanted to have a daughter. And having had 2 sons with Ron, my eldest brother and myself, she left it for 7 years before she thought she'd have another go and see if she could get it. Well, what did she get? She got Bruce. And then she waited another little while before she got Grant, and then she stopped. Now, my mother wasn't going to live after birth. She had a hole in the heart. She wasn't going to live through her childhood. She wasn't going to get married. She wasn't going to have children. And at 50, the technology was such that the hole could be patched up and she could live for until 87. So such was the capacity of her. Now she did in fact, when I produced the first child of the 4 of us, and turned out to be a person called Jane, who has superbly organised this gathering for us today. Such a treasure. The fat lady hasn't stopped singing yet. So I'm not. No, Jane has done this wonderful thing. How did I produce a child like Jane? And my first wife said the same thing. How could we have produced such a wonderful, domestic, caring, thoughtful person when neither of us are any of those qualities? So my mother loved Jane, and Jane loved her as well, and she was the daughter that she was supposed to have, so she could lavish her skills in sewing and knitting and all those things that she wanted to do, which was never very successful with Ron or Noel or Grant or Bruce. She wasn't going to get very far. So this solitary, I'll just flip the page, and I think I've only got a few more little things to say about the people who are here. So when I found out that there was a subject called zoology, and I walked down Science Road and found the building of zoology, and I realised I was home because I could smell formalin for the first time. It's always a joy to smell formalin. And I can't go through 125 people, but I'm going to talk about batches or groups of people that have come into my life, and they want it up there, do? Okay. So we have zoology classes, from thousands of students in first year zoology to 20 or so in second year and third year, and 2 of my longest known friends are here today and come from that period of my life of undergraduate zoology. We were the 3 of the 20 that went into academic zoology. The others were school teachers and other things, but we stuck with various forms of academic zoology, and I said I wasn't going to name names, they may have even gone. Patsy and Lynn, there we are. Wonderful, wonderful. Lynn is Melbourne, but coming to move up to Sydney for occasions with a flat in Newfoundland Bay, and Patsy in Sydney, and myself here as well. So we get together from time to time. Now, from that Sydney University, then I went to Canberra, and then came back to Sydney to Macquarie University, and there, from 1969, is my life in one place. So I've become this other person. Craved attention as a child. I became the most sedentary person you can imagine. I didn't move job, house or anything else very much, and there I stayed. Other people change on the hour as if they changed their clothes. They've moved house as well, and their mobile phone number and everything else I want to know about it, but I didn't do anything about that. And therefore there came a time when there was an extended family, the first extended family that got all our children from families that only had one parent or had 2 parents that worked to go to one school. They'd all be picked up and they'd all be taken home for one day of the week and given a meal, and the parents would join them. Nobody did the washing up except the people that owned the house, and you only had to cook 1 meal per week. And that was a wonderful special time for me to have this extended family, and the extensions of the family are here today, and the mother of the extended family is also here today as well, and that's very special, and her children are here. That's wonderful. Thank you very much for that, for being here today. That was a fabulous time. Then, because it was Hunters Hill High School, there was a certain person teaching science at Hunters Hill High School, and I had parent-teacher nights, and this certain person was studying geology at Macquarie University, and that happened to be Robin. So there we go. Robin comes into the picture as the person at Macquarie and at school with Jane and what have you, and has her own family. That is the second extended family of Robin and her children, the Stutchburys, the Davisons, and the various other names that they go by as another name, what? No? There's lots of names for all this extended family lot. And they're all very special. Rowan was one of them. See, there's another. They're all around the place here today. And then, I'm nearly to the end. I think the next one is dog walking. Dog walking at Blackburn Park with my Labrador, and if you have a dog, you have friends. That's one thing, and the dogs are always great friends, but the parents that own the dogs are also great friends as well. And so a large number of dog walking people who were going to work, so we got down there very early, we walked our dogs and we talked and we had good fun down at the park, went on for many years as well. Now that dog walking friends has contracted somewhat. They have moved away, but some of them have moved away and come back here today, which is very nice to see as well. And we also, a remnant of the dog walking people meet up now at a coffee shop every day after walking their dogs, which they still might have, or me, who doesn't have a dog sadly enough but would like to have one soon, goes on a walk and we have coffee together, and that is another treasure of a time, and there's the dog walking lot. And last but by no means least is my time, 10, possibly 15 years, of being a member of the council of the Zoological Society of New South Wales. We all have an interest in zoology. We have our offices at the zoo, and we all have a wonderful time promoting Australia's fauna and its conservation. And my role has been, with many other members of the society, prizes for books published on Australia's fauna that is responsible for promoting our unique fauna and the dangers that it is faced with. And so that's the Whitley Awards, and we do this every year, and the spectacular books that we have to judge, and the trial to do that and to come to some decision. And so that goes on every year as well. So that's the Zoological Society, the Dog Walking Society, the Child Minding Society, Robin's family, wonderful family society, and all you other people that, and of course there was lots of other friends of Robin's that have joined me as well. And that's the sum total of why there is at minimum 125 people. And there are neighbours as well. Don't let me forget the neighbours. They're with the neighbours. I'm terribly sorry. That almost, you slipped under the radar almost. So there you go. Thank you very much indeed for all coming. Oh, I was going to do that. Thank you. A very special thing has happened just in the last couple of days, and that I went on study leave to Wales in 1975. And there I met two PhD students, Jean Vigdenez and Philip Ledger. They were doing their PhD. I was there as a yearly student, person studying, and I got to know them better than anybody else on the department. Well, since that time, John Vigdenez moved to France, and there he had a child, a son, Pierre. Pierre has come here a few times, twice to my record, as a small child, as an adolescent, and he's here now because he is now big deal, living in Calgary, and big deal, I can tell you. Unfortunately, he's going to go to Melbourne tonight to spend some time down there before he whips back to Calgary. It's been a wonderful time to rekindle the time I had with his father back in Wales, and that will allow me to make that connection again, as I have sort of done. I've got your son here, and we had a great time. And he's left a tiramisu as well. He's a great chef. Thanks for your property. That's very kind of you. It always fills in the little gaps that I over. I think, any more? No, thank you. That's enough. Thank you very much.
And now Dave is going to do a little vignette. And I hand the microphone over.
Thank you. I feel like a bit of an interloper here. I've only known Noel since the mid-1980s as a friend and colleague, which is only a fraction of the time that many of you have known Noel. Nevertheless, when the call came out to give a speech, I really wanted to say at least something. Fortunately, I didn't have time to prepare anything because, like the rest of you, if I had time, I could have spoken about Noel for hours and hours and hours. But I do want to tell one brief little story. This is something that brings a smile to my face every time I think of Noel. In the mid to late 1990s, Noel came down to stay with me, and we were going to go off on a field trip to collect velvet worms. And my 5-year-old son answered the door when Noel arrived. And I can just remember the look on my 5-year-old Jimmy's face. He came running down the hallway, his face was lit up, his big eyes were open, and he said, "Daddy, Daddy, Daddy, it's Bilbo Baggins!"
Thank you, Dave. So the Shire did have some good people coming from it. Lynn would like to make a little speech with a little history attached, I think.
Yeah, a little history.
Okay, thank you, Lynn.
Yeah, thank you. I want to tell you about Noel when he was a young man, when he first went to university. And we all know him and we love him, so I'm not going to say anything more about him in his present form. But he was always an endearing person, and I first met him in 1957, as did my friend Patsy. I met him through chemistry because then the names were alphabetically, and one of Noel's best friends' name started with B, as did mine, and so we met in first year chemistry and became friends ever since. we've shared many experiences. One of it was a life-threatening experience where we went together to northern New South Wales where my parents lived for a holiday, a Christmas holiday. And when we were coming back, we decided to do the drive from Ballina to Sydney in one go. I didn't drive at the time, and Noel was driving, and at about 3 a.m. we were coming through Hornsby. I don't know if it's still there, but there was a part where the road curved like that, and there were these concrete pillars. Are they still there? Does anybody know? Are they still there? Anyway, very dangerous section. And I'd gone to sleep, and I suddenly woke up, and there was Noel driving fast asleep towards one of the pillars. And I just sort of gave a shriek and grabbed the wheel, and anyway, we're both here, so it wasn't fatal. But the thing I wanted to tell you about, which is a very, I think, typical Noel story that I'm sure you'll appreciate, was his 21st birthday party. And his mother had put a lot of effort into making this lovely party, and it was fantastically well done, and we all enjoyed it enormously. And Noel was cutting the cake, the birthday cake, and I don't know what sort of knife they've got here today, so he might do the same thing again. But when he was cutting the cake, he looked at the knife, and it reminded him of the copulatory apparatus of the sawfly. And he remarked on it and then proceeded to demonstrate how the sawfly laid eggs, or I don't know if it was a male or the female, whether it was copulated or whatever. Anyway, with the knife on the cake, and basically destroyed the cake. And all the zoologists found it hysterically funny, but his mother was not so pleased. So he hasn't changed much, so don't let him cut the cake today. Thank you.
I believe Erica is going to tell us some more.
Hi, wow, Noel, amazing. I'll try and be really quick, but that's going to be actually really, really hard because Noel means a lot to everyone in this room, absolutely, and a lot to me, and I'm sure we could all talk for hours, as has just been said. But to cut to the chase, I was one of those fortunate children that needed looking after school, and wow, was that the best experience of my childhood. Thank you, Noel. I remember going to Noel's place one night a week, being picked up with Jane and the kids. Was absolutely the highlight of my week, going through primary school and early high school. Through Noel, I was absolutely fortunate. Like, I love my parents to the ends of the earth, of course, absolutely. But you know, when you're a kid and someone comes into your life that is different and is amazing and has a life-changing effect. And Noel, I still probably think of you every day, which is bizarre, but you know, maybe I need therapy. But Noel has had such an incredible influence on my life, and it probably started with a bizarre childhood obsession with Donovan, because Noel used to play a lot of Donovan music. I'm sure no one's heard of him because I was the only one in my high school that knew about Donovan, and I got kind of ripped for that. But thank you, Noel. I still love your taste in music. Through Noel, I can completely remember being introduced to Fleetwood Mac and all the classic music of the 70s. Like, my parents were lovely, 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 but a little bit square. I guess my exposure to life really, so much of it comes down to enjoying the 1970s was that experience with Noel. Noel is an amazing chef. I'm sure most of you probably know that, but through Noel and his associations, we were introduced to food that we had no idea even existed beyond my, other obsession of lamb roast. But we just, Indian food, calamari, amazing food that I'd never would have experienced at that time. I also had the pleasure of the companionship of Jane, who love you to death, Jane, and I'm really sorry I don't contact you and ring more and stay in touch, and I'll fix that. I keep promising that every time I catch up. But I felt like Jane was a sister growing up, and she still is. You know, you're not always the best to your sister. But Jane, and then later Kia and Kirsty, were just like, I always call you Kirsty, were just, you know, they were like a second family, absolutely a second family, and Robin too, thank you, Migs and the kids up the road. So that period, I won't go on, I think I just wanted to give you a flavour, but it was truly a magical golden period, and I'm about to tear up thinking about how wonderful it was. And 100% that was down to the joyous personality and experiences of Noel, which really brought us all together, and you cannot be in a room with Noel and not laugh. That is one of my most amazing things, and I still think about it. And I actually ended up going to Macquarie Uni, so I was absolutely fortunate and lucky to have been able to experience some of that golden period as well. And I know there's a lovely bunch of people here from Macquarie Uni that you guys, I don't think they've ever replicated anything like that. That was amazing, and I was just honoured to be part of that too. And there's many people that think I went to Macquarie Uni because my parents were there, but in biology, and they were, and I love them, and I love their work, and I ended up studying plants mainly because I wasn't so keen on animals and formalin, and geology. But I'll keep it really short. I think the fact that Noel made it look so funny and so attractive and so interesting over dinner as we were growing up was really the driving factor. Thank you, Noel.
Well, I think there's some entertainment coming now. Oh, one quick word in first from, this is an unscheduled. Where were you when the list? No, of course not. I'm not pleased.
I don't like lists. Two quick stories. The first one relates to a very dear mutual friend and colleague of Noel and myself, Ray Cameron, who was our fieldwork officer and friend and buddy when we did many thousands of hours of fieldwork. On one occasion, Ray and Noel were doing some work over the Blue Mountains, going down, I think, towards Lithgow, and going down a very steep path, and Noel started clutching at his chest, going, oh. And Ray, who was a fieldwork officer, goes, heart attack, and the pain. And Ray said, what is it? And Noel said, it could be those 2 meat pies I had. The other story is more recent. As many of you know, several years ago, for a while it was thought that possibly Nole was suffering from Parkinson's disease, and she phoned me up where we live on the north coast and said, oh, I've got some bad news to tell you. I might be developing Parkinsonism. So I said, oh, Nole, does that mean you're going to start getting forgetful, clumsy, not knowing where you put things, getting vague? He said, yes. I said, thank God, Nole, you're not going to change. Very good. Very good.
So now we have Cecilia and Kirsty to do. He did it his way? No? He did survive.
October the 4th, 1939, a baby was born, a gift to humankind, a Coogee boy by heart. Though he stood quite apart, he didn't like surf or sand, he was an academic man.
From Scots College to the ANU, it was here that his scientific interest grew. He landed at Macquarie, for this he was never sorry. He read all scientific books about worms, termites and peripetus. It was those which gave him fame, international interest, adding professor to his name. Those little velvet worms with little loby legs, he thought he saw them carrying sperm upon their heads. Enjoy your life. You should be proud. Just turn around now, 'cause you're beloved in this crowd. It's not time for you to say your goodbyes, 'cause you won't crumble and you won't lay down and die. Oh no, not you. You will survive. Oh, as long as you know how to love, I know you stay alive. You've got all your jokes to say, and you've got all our love today. You will survive. You will survive. You have survived.
Oh, sorry, what?
To me or says?
Oh, I see. Sorry, it's you.
That's it.
I thought that was just a stutter.
I haven't prepared anything.
But?
Apart from that was a little preparation. I learned from NoleIs when I was in year 12, going to listen to him lecture at Macquarie University about giving speeches. And I learned that the most important thing about giving a speech or teaching someone about something is your passion, and that you don't really need a piece of paper to talk about what's passionate in your life. And so I thought, someone who's so passionate in my life, I don't need to write anything about, because I can do it from my heart. NoleIs came into my life when I was 11. My 11th birthday was celebrated with him in William Creek. And there was an amazing change in our lives. It was like a blanket settling on me and my family, I believe. We went from a different environment of the sort of late 70s, early 70s parties with jam sessions and GLORA, Gloria and all that stuff, to sophisticated dinner parties where we had wine and candlelight and we had pucker bell in the background and fires going and very gentle and comforting time. The best thing about NoleIs, there's lots of great things, we all know about those, is that he brought with him Jane. She was a big sister that I always wanted. She took me under her wing and I took her under my wing, and we lived together, we worked things out together. She taught me about puberty and all those things. And we have obviously remained friends and keep in contact. NoleIs spent a lot of time with us with taking over the role of making lunches in the mornings, breakfast. He gave us breakfast in bed, all of us. He still does. I spent with Mum. Tea and orange juice. We used to get orange juice and toast through our high school years, and he'd wake up going, "Debout, debout," which I think he learnt that was his French lessons he was doing at one stage. And then one stage he was doing the theatre production of Pembroke City, Milkwood, under Milkwood. And he'd walk around singing, "In Pembroke City when I was young, I lived by the river." My God, I remember such trivia. Things, Kian, be quiet. I do remember the trivia. But it was really important. NoleIs came into our lives and brought a totally different perspective. He gave me, I sometimes feel that we're genetically connected in his appreciation for people and caring. He wants to give, he's constantly giving, he's constantly thinking about giving. And I admire that. I admire that you think of other people so much. And who was it was talking about, Liv, was it? Talking about NoleIs and cutting cakes. When NoleIs is around and we have friends around, we suddenly have prawns, or we're having prawns for entree. he sits there and discusses if they're male or female, and still does it. Yeah. So always teaching, always enthusiastic, and we love him dearly, and he's taught us all. So thank you, Nole. Love you dearly. Happy birthday.
Okay, so hi. I'm just saying something apart from all the grandchildren. Just ask them what reminds them of Nole. Amelia said, she gave me a little story about your echidna. And she loved your echidna. And she one day took it for a school presentation. She told all the kids that she made it herself. And she was loved, and yeah, she had to live with that lie, but made many friends, I'm guessing. Anton said curried egg sandwiches, as many of us would know. Ruben said peripatus. Joel, bugs and insects. Georgie said hats. There were many, many, many hats. Eliana said, you're just funny. You're just so, so funny. And I just want to say, just happy and lovely and always there with your sandwiches. We never leave anywhere without sandwiches. Always have sandwiches. But yeah, no, it's just happy. Everything, yeah, everyone said, Nole, and he's always there and always makes life funny and cheerful, and yeah, love you, Nole. Happy birthday.
Thank you, Ceci. And now Mum has got a few words to finish off the speeches.
Very few words. First of all, I'd like to thank Jane very much for taking all the problems out of my hands totally and making such a success of today. And of course, of her helping lot, and that's her immediate family and various other people who stepped in, such as Kirsty and family. That's not the only reason. I was supposed to have a list of apologies, a bit like a wedding. And my brother Michael said, I'm sorry I can't be here, and I could go on with about another 20 people, but I think we all know they're not here, so we won't worry. What I'd like to do though is finish up on one thing. There's been a bit of a mystery because people have said to me along the way, what is this meaning of this? Of these two living fossils, which one is older? Now that was Jane's family's invitation, right? And they were saying, what does it mean? Right? And they didn't look down and see that we were talking about I knew I'd get it wrong, Demitatus tatii. And the big thing, Noel's too modest to talk about this, but he has a new species of peripatus, velvet worm, named after him. So now he goes down in the world of onychophoran history to be preserved forever. And he will become a living fossil as well. In the meantime, I think you were going to mention that it's not the only family member, is that right?
I forgot that. You can do that though.
He said, well, it's not just me. There's also Florelliceps stachburii, and that's after me. And that's because when Noel and I were doing a field trip once up near Nimbin, at the height of the Marijuana Festival, we found two little peripatus, velvet worms, mating. And so I've got this lovely photo of Endon. Noel didn't say, and nobody else has said, they are dickheads. They carry their sperm on their heads, and then they inseminate the female by pushing their head into the vagina of the female. Now that's fine. That's just normal stuff, we all know about that. But what we don't know is why the Florelliceps. Because this little velvet worm has got a little flower on its head. And it's unusual for a female to have this particular structure. So it became Florelliceps, little flower-headed stachburii. Now, I'm very grateful for that because the other end, the vagina, is completely surrounded by spines. Imagine if it had been stachburii I can't imagine. I'll leave it at that. Thank you.
Just to say there are 4 different flavours. There's banana, because NoleIs cake that he used to love make with banana. There's Greta Anna carrot cake, because that was another favourite. There's a ginger cake, because that's my favourite, and then there's a hazelnut cake, for whatever reason. But they're all gluten-free, but they all have eggs, and 2 of them have nuts, but 2 don't. So the hazelnut obviously has nuts, and the carrot cake, because it's got walnuts on top, have nuts, but the other 2 don't. So sorry for the vegans, but I can't do without eggs. It's a bit hard.
Happy birthday, dear Nole. Happy birthday to you. Hip, hooray! Hip, hooray! Hip, hooray!
So we'll just have cake at the back when we're ready.
You don't have it.
Wait, he has to cut the cake.
We're going to
Cut one piece.
Yeah, this is
Careful, that's an oath.
This is a description of me at my 21st birthday party with the saw.
I think you need to
fly putting his ovipositor into the midrib of the leaf and depositing a row of eggs. Now the sawfly, you would know, is these very handsome creatures as larvae that form this huge colonial mass of pullulating, squirming worms that exude a repugnatorial substance on disturbance. They go then down into the ground where they pupate and they become these handsome wasps. Enough information. And I think at this 21st birthday, because I didn't drink a lot, and Lynn would about safe for this, because I used to bring her a bottle of Benin every now and then. And she told me on one occasion, "No, I think a bunch of flowers would be much nicer." So I think I had a large amount of Benin, which I had bought for this occasion. I think I was pretty pissed. And my mother was pretty amazed that I would do such things. Okay, in we go. Then they move. One to the left.
All right, let him guess.
Small